Nashville is a rapidly developing city with a population of nearly 700,000. As one of the fastest growing metro areas in the country for 5 consecutive years, residents are largely white, black, and Hispanic with just under 3,000 Koreans. Yet the Korean influence is evident in local grocery stores, restaurants, and eateries. But how is it that one of the smallest minority groups managed to make its way into the mainstream? Growing up in New Jersey, Korean food was easily accessible and occupied much of my diet. I was raised by my Korean grandma who didn't speak English, and I barely spoke any Korean. In spite of language barriers, we always had a very close relationship that was deeply rooted in food. I felt a lot of love in her cooking, and it served as a vessel for culture and communication. Even though I was born and raised in America, my identity is still heavily tied to Korean food. My parents provided me with an ultra-American childhood, yet my diet is what keeps me so affiliated with my Korean heritage. This creates an interesting dichotomy between my American and Korean identities. So in order to understand why Korean food is so important to me, I needed to learn more about the faces behind the food and where it originated from. So I flew home to talk to someone who could tell me the story I was looking for.
거기다 또 끼기는 거야? 별걸 다 해보네.
Okay, ready?
엄마가 아니라 할머니가 하는 거야? 어? 됐어.
누구세요?
혜진이 할머니. 우리가 처음에 왔을 때는 44년 전이라 한국 상점이 없었어, 별로. 그래서 미국 여기서 상점에 가서 사 먹었는데 별로 한국 음식을 못 만들어 먹었어. 그러다가 이제 한국 사람이 많이 오고 그러고서 한국 상점이 생겨서 이제 한국 음식을 더 먹게 됐어.
I remember growing up and spending time with my grandfather in his island. He lived in a very sort of a remote part of Korea. It's a small island north from my recollection. We grew the foods that we needed to eat, but the people, I believe that everyone grew their own food. So when we first came to the States in the 70s, the late 70s, at the time, if we craved Korean food, we really didn't have access to a Korean market. So we would have to just kind of be creative in the way that we would use some of the American produce and adapt it to making it flavorful. A few years later, a Korean market opened in the city where we lived, and that was a game changer for us because it gave us an opportunity to be able to go and have access to certain spices and certain produce that we could only get from a Korean market.
밥은 좋아하는데 죽은 싫어해. 그 이유는 한국에서 6.25 전쟁이 났을 때 6.25 전쟁일 때 내가 국민학교 5학년 때였어. 한 3년 한국 사람 전체가 고생을 했었어 그때. 그때 나라 전체가 가난을 해서 모두가 죽 먹고 살았을 때야. 그래서 어렸을 때 그 죽 먹은 생각이 나가지고 죽은 별로 좋아하질 않아. 김치는 한국 음식 중에서 반찬으로서는 제일 많이 먹기 때문에 어려서부터 김치를 먹고 자랐기 때문에 김치를 좋아한 거고, 또 한국 사람으로서는 김치가 없으면은 음식에 중요한 거 빠지니까 반드시 음식이 필요해. 어느 집이든. 그래서 김치는 배추를 사다가 소금에 절이고 3시간쯤 있다가 배추를 씻어서 고춧가루, 마늘, 파, 양념을 넣고 만든다. 이 그릇은 김치 만들 때 쓰는 그릇으로 한국에서 올 때 가져온 거야. 40년이 넘은 그릇이다. 맛있어 봐. 자. 40년이 넘은 그릇이다.
와.
그 당시에는 냉장고가 없기 때문에 날마다 시장을 가서 음식을 사다가 만들어 먹었고, 이제 김치는 이제 보관하지 못하니까 큰 넓은 이제 저기 그릇에다가 물을 넣고 김치 항아리를 거기다 넣고 그래서 냉동을 시켜서 먹었어.
Well, I grew up watching my mother make kimchi probably once a month or once every other month. And it was a very big, labor intensive production. And later on in time, I think around high school time, I was able to start making kimchi of my own because my mom was very busy. I wanted to help out more, and I really enjoyed the process. I thought it was so much fun, this process of creating something that will last many, many weeks and something that's always such an important part of our meals. My mom never really asked me to do it, but I really enjoyed it. Something that I do even to this day, and I hope that one day my daughters will continue the tradition.
이때 할머니도 젊다. 그지?
응.
언제야 그때 왔다가?
How did your mom change after immigrating?
Well, the biggest change was that she went from a stay-at-home mother to having to work from Monday through Saturday. She was always available and accessible to anything that I needed while living in Korea. But once we moved to the States, she was never around. She worked most of the days from very early in the morning, came home very late in the evening. So that really changed the pattern of our living. That changed our family dynamic, having both my parents go out and work. And oftentimes we lacked the family meals together. Oftentimes we lacked the family gathering space because of their busy lifestyle.
엄마는 어렸을 때 수박을 그렇게 좋아했어. 그래서 할머니가 일 끝나고 오면은 날마다 그걸 사다 줬어. 먹기 싫다고 할 때까지. 그 생각이 난다. 날마다 일 끝나고 저녁에. 엄마가 맛있게 먹으니까 할머니는 또 사다 주는 게 재밌었어. 네가 뭐 만두 먹고 싶다, 잡채 먹고 싶다 그러면 할머니가 해주고 싶잖아. 마찬가지로 엄마가 먹고 싶다는 거는 지금도 너희들이 먹고 싶다는 걸 해주고 싶어.